Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Christine Hall, and I'm the founder of the MAWB, the Mississauga Area Women in Business. And we are just delighted to have Miss Sabrina on with us today. Sabrina, new mommy, and I would say content marketing, content. I don't know if she's content manager, but you know she's got it all going on. We've had actually Sabrina speak in the past to our mastermind group. I think that was last spring, and it was a great presentation. It's still available up on our YouTube video if you want to learn more about how to create your bio or how to create your autobiography. She gave some great lessons. In fact, I just shared those recently with some members of the Work Sprint, Sabrina, who were trying to write their bio. So your content lives on, girl. And today we're so excited to have Sabrina here. And she's going to be teaching us a little bit about video scripting, branded video scripting. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to read the description of her session. She's actually titled it Reflections, Count, Memorable Branding Video Scripting. And she has provided a really cool graphic. If you didn't see it, it's mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest brand of all? And it's make it memorable. Let your brand reflect you. So just from that, you can see she is a fun lady. She's a wordsmith, and she knows how to be really creative. So I'm going to read you a brief description of this session, and then I'm going to let Sabrina tell us a little about herself and the journey she's been on with her business. So here it goes, the description. Once upon a time, there was a business that didn't look much like a brand. The business was underdeveloped, her name unknown, and her image a little scruffy. Don't let that be your story. Making branding videos can be expensive and time consuming, which is why you want to get it done right. And I'm going to say it the first time. Learn how to craft your story outline and create a winning brand video that will captivate your audience from start to finish. We definitely all need that, especially now that everything has switched or pivoted to the online world. And I know even with stage 2 here coming up upon us, people moving back into, let's call it real life, normal stuff, I think a lot of people are going to stay this way. I think a lot of people have found a new niche. A lot of people have found a new comfort level in this online world. So the information that you're going to provide to us today is going to be invaluable. I know it. So why don't we start off with you providing with us with a little background, who you are, what you do, and certainly feel free to talk about Olympia. We love to hear about babes, rock stars. Indeed, she is in the in the making. So go ahead.
Should I be sharing my screen, Christine?
Yep, you can do that. I will first of all go over and make you the host. And when I do that, you should see a little pop-up menu. You can accept being the host. And then, perfect. Look at this.
All right. Just so we can all be on the same. There we go. All right. So thank you, Christine, for that wonderful introduction, by the way. And thank you, everybody, for joining in today. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Sabrina. I'm Italian. I've been in the MAWB for about a year and a half. And I do mean the Facebook networking group. Okay, so I just want to make sure. I am a new mommy of a tiny little human. Her name is Olympia. And I've always been a restless creative. I have a knack for developing marketing strategies. I've been helping my friends, acquaintances, and their acquaintances since I was in university. And my head is literally always jam-packed with crazy, erratic ideas. I am well known in the house to jump out of the shower when I have my light bulb moments. That is a true story that actually does happen. I have different notepads everywhere scattered in the house, and I also wake up in the middle of the night and I have to write down my ideas. That's just how I function, and it's always been that way since I was in school, really. I am a little bit nervous about this presentation, but also super excited. I'm very humbled to have been given another opportunity to talk to you guys, and want to thank Christine for allowing me to share my content marketing expertise with all of you. Unless you guys have any questions about me that I am more than happy to answer right off the bat, we can just dive right in and get going with the presentation. So then I will start. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to write a story, not a script. And it sounds simple, but guess what? Most business owners know that storytelling is important, but very few put it into practice. And I work with a lot of clients on different marketing initiatives, and I see this being really the main issue. Sometimes people don't recognize that they have a story, don't know how to put it together in order to make it into a storyline from start to finish and engage their audience. So even though we all know what storytelling is, and we all know that it's important for our marketing initiatives, we don't always put it into practice because we just don't know how to piece everything together. And you know, your audience is programmed to crave great stories, and that will never change. So the way in which we can achieve our storyline goal is to become our client's hero. And the best way to write your branding story, which will then translate into your branding video, is to know what the pain points your products or services solve, then work backwards to how your customer feels, what problems they're trying to overcome, and rescue them. So this is key. And there needs to be a bit of a shift in how you think. Because if you're just thinking of getting your points across in relations to what services you have, that's one thing. But when you really think about how your customer feels throughout their overcoming their challenges and how you can rescue them, your whole mentality will help you create content that better reflects your brand and how your brand can help them. And so, sorry about that. So then the goal of your branding video, and I've just abbreviated BV for branding video for our purposes of the presentation, is taking your clients from not knowing anything about you or your services to knowing who you are and how to buy from you. Now, this doesn't sound super compelling at first, and that's okay. But remember, with every initiative that you're writing about or you're developing, so in this case, your branding video, you have a behind the scenes goal, and your behind the scenes goal is for you alone. How you create a storyline to engage your audience, that's a separate thing you're going to work on. But your behind the scenes goal is for your branding video anyhow, is for your clients to get to know who you are and also how they can buy from you. And so there are 4 questions that you essentially want to ask yourself in building your storyline for your branding video. And these 4 questions, we're going to go through them, are: why do I want to tell this story? Who am I telling this story to? Why does it matter to them? And what value will I provide? So let's put these in the context of a branding video and your storyline. So let's talk about, why do I want to tell this story? So I'm not telling this story to talk about my accomplishments. I'm telling this story to show my clients I add value to their lives, how I lessen their burdens, and how I can meet their needs. What is very important, and the shift that I was talking to you about before, is that the protagonist isn't you. Even though it's your branding video and you are the face of your company, the protagonist is the client. You have to take yourself away from the spotlight, let your client be the spotlight, so your viewer in this case, and you have to become their hero. So that is number 1, step number 1. Why do I want to tell this story? You want to add value to your viewers' lives, you want to lessen their burdens and meet their needs. So then now we go to question number 2. Who am I telling this story to? So I'm not creating this video so it can go viral, okay? I'm creating this video for my niche market only. And sometimes, even when we talk, we speak marketing, and we use words like niche market, like target audience, and they kind of feel distant and cold even for us when we say them. So one really good tip that I tell my clients, and we tend to do this together, is that we give their number 1 client, let's say, a name, a face, and a hobby. Okay, we get to know that client, and we kind of create a persona, and everything we do, so everything we write, we say dear and the name of the client. So for example, let's use Sabrina. So Sabrina is a very fun, spunky, young mom with crazy red hair, very curly, has a big personality. So we're gonna dress her up in gym gear because she wants to feel comfortable. And whatever product or service I offer Sabrina, I'm gonna write to her when I am coming up with my storyline or my scripting. So dear Sabrina or to Sabrina, and then I kind of build from there. It becomes much more personable, and your writing becomes easier. And you're brainstorming too, because you're not now, you've gotten out of your head niche market. What does that mean? You've given a face to your client. So let's now go to the third question. Why does it matter to them? So in this case, your viewers. So what you're saying and what you're showing in your branding video will only matter to your viewers if you tell the story through their eyes. The story should always be told in the context of your customer's life. For example, if you're a realtor and you are telling your viewers or showing your viewers that you sell homes super fast, and that you sell, 20 homes per month or 30 homes per month, and you're the best in the biz, they're not really going to care, because at the end of the day, there are tons of other realtors that most likely can achieve those stats. But if you show your clients or tell your clients through a storyline that you're there for them every step of the way and throughout all of their milestones, that has a completely different feel. It has a completely different visual, and you're tapping into something that they can relate to. So those are sort of why it matters to them. You need to make sure that what you're saying, what you're showing, matters to your viewer, matters to Sabrina, our target client. And so the last question is, what value will I provide? So with this, you want to ask yourself how your product or service will change your clients' lives. It's really important. You really need to figure out compelling motives and evidence as to what your service or product can do to change their lives, and for the better, of course. So now I want to show you my storytelling funnel. So I've used an apple, a sliced apple, just to be in theme with the whole Snow White theme. And it has 6 phases. And the storytelling funnel is not that much different from the typical marketing sales funnel, which depicts the client's journey towards a purchase. In this case, for a branding video, the point isn't for your clients to watch your branding video and, hire you right away or, buy from you right away. The goal here is to take your viewers from phase 1, which is awareness, to brand awareness, which is the very last apple slice. The difference is that brand awareness is what distinguishes you from the crowd. And in other words, it means loyalty. So that is extremely important. And that is what you're striving for when you're coming up with your storyline for your branding video. So the stages are awareness, interest, consideration, belief, decision, and brand awareness. And if you can see, they're color coordinated, and we'll see them in the following slides. They're color coordinated to match the questions that we've just discussed. So for example, awareness. Awareness is the first stage, and it matches the question, why do I want to tell this story? So for a branding video, it's very important that in the first 10 seconds of your video, you want people to understand who you are. In the 20 seconds following, you want viewers to understand why you're on camera. Now, 10 seconds, 11 seconds, I mean, there's wiggle room there. But the point is, the viewers need to understand why you're there, what it is that you are about to tell them. They need to understand the why. Otherwise, they will not make it to the second phase. So the interest phase is, who am I telling this story to? This phase is your opportunity to develop a relationship with your people, and emphasis on your people. Again, when you're making marketing material, even a branding video, you're wanting to construct your storyline just for your people, because that is how you will succeed. And think, what is the most relatable aspect of your business that you can share with your viewers? So it's not what's more interesting to you, and it's not giving your viewers 35 points. It's about giving them a few that are the most relatable to them. And you want to make sure that you use words, descriptions, and comparisons that are easily relatable, okay? You want to make sure that you can connect their interests with yours and with your brand. So now we are in the consideration stage, which is slice of the apple 3, and therefore stage 3. And it matches the question, why does it matter to them being your viewers? So focus on how your product or service touches your viewers' lives, and give them a reason to care about what you do. They're not going to care on their own. You need to give them a reason. You need to show them how your product or service impacts others. And you can do that by telling them about your community involvement if you are involved in the community. Show them you have feelings and that you are in it to change their lives for the better. You can feature other people, whether clients or team members, and community champions. You let them vouch for you, and it really helps funnel through your viewers to really considering your services. And less scripted, when you include others in your videos, the better, the more authentic and original. The belief stage, which is not a stage that is seen in the typical marketing funnel. And I think it is the most crucial, the most important, and it needs to be added on there. And it matches the question, what value will I provide? So how you do this is you swap place with your viewers and think of the questions that they might have. So you anticipate their questions and you answer them. You then go one step further and translate those questions into an experience that they can feel. Remember, emotions are a powerful motivator. They compel people to relate to a product or service, therefore you in this case, and take action. When you want to describe the value that you provide and you want people to feel it, you want to use words, descriptions, and comparisons that tap into your viewers' imagery and sensory. So 5 senses. And it's very important because belief is trust. So they need to believe and trust in you in order to become your client, not just for this once, but throughout your journey, you know, quote unquote, client for life. And the slides are not moving. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, sorry guys. All right, so the second last phase or stage is the decision stage. At this point, you've really done all you can. So now it's in your viewers' hands to decide whether or not they trust you enough to make the leap. So if you've gone through the stages before and you've really tapped into their motives and now they're making the decision, they either will continue on or they'll drop. Most likely, if you've followed the funnel, they will stay on. And now they're at the brand awareness stage. And essentially, all it is that if you've written your storyline with your audience in mind, so with Sabrina in mind, and you've tugged at their heartstrings, Sabrina will now believes that you can help her, and you've become her hero. So before we move forward, I just want to open it up in case anybody has any questions. And if you don't have any questions, I will give you a phenomenal tip on how you can come up with your storyline. So I'll just wait a moment and see if we have any questions. And if not,
I don't have any questions, and I absolutely love this content. I talk about this all the time in my social media training. People will often come and I will say, "Who's your ideal client?" And they're like, "Oh, everyone." And I'm like, "No."
No, no.
And so yes, this is bang on. I love it. And my ideal client, her name is Sam. Just so you know.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. There you go. That's awesome. And what's Sam's hobby?
Oh, Sam is a type A, used to be in the corporate world. Sam is a stay-at-home mom, but she's in like groups and runs the PTA, and she's very athletic. I hope I'm not mirroring Sam after me, but I
She
resonate.
is you.
But that's okay because you're your brand, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you reflect your clients, and that's the whole point, and that's fantastic and right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
have a
like you said, like when I write, I sit down, okay, well, how is Sam going to get this? And I write as if she's across the table from me. So,
And that's perfect. That's exactly how it needs to be done. And that's why you're so successful, Christine. And you're so authentic too. And that's why you tap into all of our hearts.
thanks. I think
So your avatar, Christine, is you, and that's I hate using the term avatar, but that's what they use in the insurance industry. Who is your avatar client? I loathe that expression, and because I do so many different products, I don't. You know, you say you don't like everyone's my client. Everyone is potentially my client.
But Jane, you have different personas, most likely. So you have the
Exactly.
family, you might have, right? You have different, you tap into a larger market, so 100%, but depending what policies and what stage in their lives your clients are, that would be sort of your, each segment would be a niche for you.
Absolutely. So I have to change how I speak to the realtor who's got $1 million in investments versus the brand new mom with a baby who needs insurance.
right. I totally agree with you, Jane. Like I have 3 different markets as well. I have my training client, I have my social media client, and then I have the MAWB. And so I do change gears based on who I'm speaking to. But literally, I think of, if I'm going to write for the MAWB, I think of you. I think of Araceli. I think of Vicky, right? Like I'm having a conversation across the table from them. So I do that too.
And remember, Jane, that if you have, so let's say you have a blog post that, you know, you want to share to get engagement. You can, there's different approaches that you can go, that you can take. So you can put a title and sort of, you know, an introduction to let your people know that it's for a certain type of audience, or you can, you know, so at least you get the engagement for them, and that post or that marketing storyline is for them. And that's what's important, because if you're writing a storyline that's for a certain group, marketing to everybody isn't going to help them, and it isn't going to help you get leads. So you want them to understand, sort of like the branding video, the awareness stage. You want your audience to be aware in that very moment that you're tapping into the investor as opposed to the stay-at-home mom.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the title is really important, and that leads to whatever specific client that's going to be.
So in written content that you would probably share a blog post, yes, 100%. In respects to a branding video, it would be whatever your introduction is. That's when you want to tell your why and who you're talking to.
Got you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And Sabrina, one thing that I always suggest as well, and you can, you know, let me know if this makes sense, is that when you're speaking to your different audience, then you're going to change the tone and the words you use, but also the imagery. You know, so if Jane is speaking to or trying to attract the stay-at-home mom, the new mom, then would Jane show pictures of a mom cradling her baby to attract that?
So you definitely can do that, and I would suggest that you do, because words are just as compelling as the image that goes with them, and vice versa. And you want to make it a comprehensive moment of engagement for the market or the client that you're trying to reach. I was trying to also think from a branding video perspective. Jane, your insurance is a bit trickier, but and this is actually an example in my slides that are coming up, but insurance companies and telephone companies often use, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word right now. Not cartoons, I'm so sorry guys, but they use
Animation.
Animation, thank you very much. They use animation for their branding and for their storyline because it's a little bit easier to follow. So for material that is a little bit harder, or when you have a very large client base with regards to branding video, a good way to go about it is with animation, for example. So that could be also another so and Christine, to follow up with you, that would be the equivalent, the imagery would be the equivalent in this case for the branding video for Jane with the animation. So 100%, images sometimes speak louder than words, right?
Thank you. That makes infinite sense, and redirecting everything in terms of how I approach people. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so a pro tip, and this is amazing, guys. So if you and Christine mentioned it at the beginning of the presentation. So you can use your autobiography, or if you don't have one, your about page, as the outline of your branding video storyline. I'm not saying to swap it. I'm not saying to copy and paste it and use that, but you can use it as the outline. So to start your juices flowing and to kind of get an idea of the components of your storyline for your branding video. And here, I actually have an example. Now, I don't necessarily want to go through the whole piece, but this is part of an autobiography that I wrote for a mobster and a client of mine. Her name is Zara, and I think some of you may actually know her. And I just wanted to show, so I had to take away some of the paragraphs. It still has a flow, but just for the purpose of this presentation, and so it would fit in one slide, there are some parts that are missing. But I did want to show you, and this I did well before this presentation. But I did want to show you how it makes sense if you follow a storytelling funnel. So in the storytelling funnel, I did for you guys to visualize, but really I just do it automatically because I'm just so used to it. So the first part, you will see that we're addressing the awareness phase. So why do I want to tell this story? So in the first 10 to 20 seconds, we're introducing Zara, and we're telling what her desire is. And her desire is to help people feel their best. And that's something relatable, and that people can be like, yeah, I want to feel my best. Let's continue watching or reading. So the next phase that we're addressing is the interest phase. And so who am I telling this story to? So she, in this phase, is talking to busy professionals, a parent or on the go, or individuals that have mobility restrictions. So see how very different those three clients are, but she's addressing them all three. Then next we have the consideration phase, which matches the question, why does it matter to them? So a lot of the time, a very nice way of doing this is asking a question. You can do that in your branding video too, and I'll give you examples after the slide. But she says, why not enjoy a personalized and affordable eye styling shopping experience of the location of your choice? Why not, right? So now there's the consideration phase. And then second last, because then there's the brand awareness, is the belief phase, pardon me. So you can see how important it is, although we're talking about branding video and the storyline for your branding video, if you use consistency in your approach for all of your marketing, you can reutilize your content to build other types of content. So if I were to help Zara, which I did actually, I wrote her storyline, her script for her brand video that's soon to come out, I would follow and use this as an outline to help guide me. So that's something that you can do as well. And again, if you use the storyline funnel, that is big help, because then you will construct all of your media, all of your content in the same way. So it's really transferable. And also consistency, believe it or not, your clients, your viewers can see and feel if you're consistent or not. If you're not consistent in your branding video, in your blog posts, in your content or marketing strategy in general, they're going to feel lost. So that's another important factor to keep into consideration. So here we're gonna get into some tips. Can I just give me 1 second to make sure that I didn't skip a slide? Yes, okay. So a story is as unique as you are. And Christine, you and I had some Facebook banter about this. And so branding without branding. And Christine, you are amazing at this. I love all your posts, and you brand without branding, which is the holy grail of marketing. So let's talk about that in respects to branding videos. So number one, when you're building your storyline for your branding video, you want to write conversationally. So when you converse or you write conversationally, you need, and why do we do this? Let me just start with this. Why do we do this? Because you don't want to appear to be someone you're not. And a lot of the times people are scared to speak with their voice. But don't be scared of sounding like you. You do not have any flaws. If anything, you have unique traits that you have to leverage. And remember, you are a reflection of your client. So by not being yourself, you're actually not tapping into your client's heart and mind and soul. By being somebody else, you're losing them because they are literally a reflection of you. So that's number one. When you're coming up with your storyline, your quote unquote script, you want to write conversationally. And by the way, when you're coming up with your points and your ideas, the first draft has to look like crap. Like, it's fine. If it's a mess, it's not a problem. My first drafts are terrible. Like, before I get to this, I have papers all over the place and on the floor, like, it's crazy. So it's okay. You need to start somewhere. And writing is extremely intimidating, especially for writers too. A blank page is really scary. So, you know, sometimes what you can do is write your goal at the top of the page. Underneath your goal, write, you know, your client's, Sabrina, our client's name, and then just jot down notes. So the next, helpful tip that I have is not to make it perfect, but to make it real. So an example that I have for this is if you own a storefront, for example, and maybe you want to interview the people that are leaving your store and you want to ask them what they've purchased. And you want to incorporate that in your branding video. That's fantastic. The issues with this are that there might be street noise in the background, but who cares? It's real and it's 100% relatable. With branding in general and branding videos, there's a lot of staging that goes into crafting the perfect brand video and storyline. And so it's fine and it's great and you need that, but you also want it to feel real. And nowadays branding videos tend to look very much the same. So you want to really try to avoid making it too perfect and instead focus on making it real, because that's what people relate to. People tend to feel intimidated by something that is too good to be true or too perfect, and they don't gravitate towards that. It's sort of like the comparison between a stock photo and a real photo. Sometimes stock photos, you need them, but a real photo will engage our emotions in a much higher level. So I think, Christine, you mentioned this before. So keep your voice and storyline consistent throughout all of your ongoing and future campaigns. So you want to keep your personality and your point of view consistent. If your content is fun and light, keep it that way across all of your media, including your branding video. If your business is sophisticated, then maintain that as your theme, also in your branding video and throughout all of your campaigns. Again, consistency. You don't want to confuse or throw off your audience. Then this is super important, and people get really stressed out about branding videos and marketing, but have fun. If it's not fun for you, I can assure you that it's not going to be fun for your viewers. Then you want to play on your strengths. If you aren't keen on being on video, you don't have to, and this kind of ties into the example that we were talking before in response to Jane. You can use simple animation. The biggest insurance companies and telephone companies do this, and it's very effective because it's easy, and it can show a complex product in a much lighter way, and it can engage your audience much better than listening to you sort of go on about insurance and maybe why it's important, and then talking about also difficult subjects like life insurance and things like that. Insurance, so examples are Cooperators, Alliance, and Geico, and I believe TELUS uses a mascot, so you can do that too. And so here are a few tricks that you can use. You can start your branding video with a voiceover. You can share an anecdote, start with a twist or with a question, and feature other people, whether clients or team members and community champions. You can also show bloopers first, depending. Again, if you run a sophisticated business, you might not want to do that if you want to maintain a bit of a more serious tone. You can also give away the ending and work your way backwards. When I do want to mention, when we talk about featuring other people, let me give you an example of this. So, and I'm going to use Vicky here actually as an example, because so if you're a wedding planner and you want to make a branding video, don't just show images of the couple, but also show you interacting with the couple. Vicky, what I would show in your branding video is when you sewed my wedding dress back on, because true story, it ripped right on my bum, and Vicky saved the day. So I would show candid, real images like that, and what that would show that you're saving the day, that you're there for your client. Like, what would a bride do, if her dress ripped? Had she not had Vicky, the Mary Poppins of weddings, helping her out? So that's something, for example, when I say featuring other people, that's what I mean. Now that you've written your storyline, scrap it. And, don't freak out. I know you must think that I'm crazy here. Going through this whole presentation, making you do all the work, making you listen to me, and then telling you to throw your script out the window. Well, here's the thing, guys. You've gone through the motions. You've been writing and reading your storyline while developing it. And since it is your story after all, there's no reason why you should be reading it or memorizing it. Trust yourself, go off script, and own it, because that will really produce the best product. So when you are coming up with your storyline for your branding video, don't go crazy trying to memorize every single word. Okay, it's okay to make mistakes. I've made a few throughout this presentation, but I think you guys will forgive me. Laugh it off, or if you can't, just move on. Sometimes, and I've read tons of marketing material on this. Sometimes companies actually leave mistakes on their videos on purpose. So, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, you make a big mistake, you keep it, but I think you get the idea. Now, this is my favorite. So do not stop at one branding video, okay? Never. This is merely the beginning, the first chapter of many. Over time, your storyline will evolve and so will your clients. Sabrina is going to grow up. Times are going to change. She might have another baby, but probably not. You never know. Honor your legacy, but don't forget to live in the present and forge the future. Adjust your message and create branding video sequels to match. So a lot of the times, my clients think that, you know, once they've done a branding video and we've come up with the storyline for their first or main branding video, that's it. No, you're going to need more, and you're going to want to build your storyline to get to those moments. So don't stop at one branding video. Keep the chapters evolving. And if you do, your clients will live happily ever after, because it is never, ever, ever about you. It's always about them. The end. So that's all, guys. So thank you so much. If the floor is open with any questions that you guys have, we can have a bit of a chat. We can go over any slides or ideas that you want. If you want to share anything, if you have questions, I'm here for you guys.
That was
Thank you so much. That was awesome. And I really appreciate that, because it's changed how I'm actually going to be sending out emails as well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's funny because while you were speaking, I was like, oh yeah, I had to keep reminding myself we were talking about branding videos, because I think this should be everything, right? This, from your social media to your email to the way you approach people.
Yeah. And because at the end of the day, there is consistency. Like, you have to be consistent. For example, Christine, the storyline funnel, you can use it for anything. In the slides that I go into detail for each one, I'm just giving you sort of ideas and tips of how each question would relate to a branding video. But that story funnel, if you use it for a blog, for an ad, like across the board, you want to keep your flow, your funneling, your message, your personality consistent. Because if you just, now I don't want to, you know, I don't want to tick anybody off, because I know we've all done this, but if you put a blazer on and you sit behind your desk and you do the branding video in different areas of the staged home or whatnot, that doesn't give out the personality of your brand and who you are. And then you write a post, you know, that's aimed for everybody. Like, all the different pieces, they need to make sense. There needs to be a story, and it needs to be like that for all of your marketing material, your branding video especially.
Are you saying continuity?
Continuity, yes, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because earlier you mentioned, oh, you do it so great, you do it so well. And the funny thing is, I'm not doing anything. I'm just being me.
But that's,
I think I've got to the point where I'm just like, you know what? This is who I am. I'm great at what I do. And there are people out there who are going to respond, and I know it. I live it and see it every day. And if it doesn't like connect, it's okay. You're not my client. We're not meant to be.
That's right, because you are there for all the Christine holes in the world. And that's the point, right? And that's your brand. And it's you can hear it and see it loud and clear.
Yeah, I think what I was maybe trying to get across there to other people who may be feeling unsure, or maybe the word is insecure, is that you are enough. Just be you. You have the knowledge and the experience, and it's okay to just be yourself, be authentically you, as you stated many times in your slides.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be scared, because really your traits are the distinguishing factor, and you really need to understand that as a business owner and an entrepreneur, your quirks, your traits are what will distinguish you from the rest, and that is what's meant to happen, and that is what you need to leverage. And in your branding video too, like don't do cookie cutter, don't follow the crowd, don't put the blazer on, don't stage everything, be you, 100% you. Hire a professional if you need. Of course, I'm not trying to say, DIY, do it all yourself, hire a professional, but build a storyline that is compelling and that is you, and that reflects you.
Well, Sabrina, your comment about don't put a suit jacket on, don't be behind the desk. I understand what you're saying about that. It's like that picture that someone takes of them, which they never look like. That one day they have their hair and makeup. But however, I don't necessarily 100% agree with don't put the suit on the jacket, because that is certainly that could certainly be a part of someone, right? Like that is, I have corporate clients. So yes, that is a part of who I am, but it also who I am is, like you mentioned, you're loud and have big personality. That's me too.
Right. And so for the corporate clients, as an example, you might want to show how in a more sort of human manner, how they help their clients. And yes, the behind the desk, yes. But if we think about Apple and we think about all the big, huge corporations, they show a storyline. They don't necessarily show their CEOs and their presidents and their VPs behind the desk. And I'm not trying to say not to do that. And I completely agree with you, Christine, but just don't forget the human touch, the human factor. Professionalism, always 100% yes, but you need to show the storyline. And there isn't a story if you are showing in 20 frames, you're showing 15 frames of you sipping coffee, typing on a computer. Like that's sort of what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
Well, that was great. I'm just going to go check the chat box and see if there are any questions there. Lots of thank yous, lots of congratulations, lots of great jobs. I will save this chat box and send you the text file of it so you can get back to anyone who asked questions, or if you just want to respond to them. Does anyone have any comments, any feedback that they'd like to provide Sabrina?
I was going to say feedback too. Yeah. Hey, I'm just like you guys. So, feedback is appreciated. If you have any questions about your own marketing campaigns, just holler. I might take maybe a little bit to get back to you because I am momming a little bit these days, but I am super available to help in any way.
Awesome. All right. Now, I don't see anything additional there, but before we leave, I was wondering if it's okay if we do a group photo. I know that a couple of people unfortunately already left. I should have done this at the beginning. I'm having mummy brain too, Sabrina. So it doesn't matter if they're 3 months or 13. It's like sometimes you get loopy and lose it. So if you would like to participate in the group photo, what I'm going to do is ask you to, Sabrina, can you put back your first slide? One of the title slides, and I'm going to try to do a combination of the...
Are you guys still seeing my screen? Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah, we're still seeing your screen, and I'm just going to try to get everyone that's left on the call. And actually, this is not bad, Sabrina, where it says thank you, or I'm just, if we showed two things side by side, that would kind of be cool.
Side by side, okay.
So just go up to your first slide and let me see what it is, because the last one just showed a thank you with your contact information.
So we can do, I wonder here, we can do it this way maybe. If you guys have a second. I'm sorry, I'm holding you guys up at this point.
All right. So what I'll ask you to do, would you mind if you just went back to the last slide? My apologies. Yeah. It doesn't quite fit because it's landscape. Okay, so if you're on the call and you'd like to be in the photo, we'd love to see your beautiful face. So poof up your hair and pinch your cheeks and lick your lips. And then I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, smile. And And then you can, yeah, I think that's good, Sabrina. I'll say 1, 2, 3, smile, and then I'll take the photo, okay? So, 1 second. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, Araceli. Okay, perfect, Sabrina. That's nice and big now. Okay, and I don't know if Sonia's on the call and she wants her beautiful, beautiful new hairdo to be visible. Okay. Nope. Okay, she's on a phone call, I think. All right. So everyone, 1, 2, 3, smile. Excellent, ladies. It's been a fabulous morning, Sabrina. That was excellent.
Thank you, guys.
You did an amazing job. I loved the layout. It was so creative and so lovely. I love how you followed through with your storyline of the dwarfs and the apple and the Sleeping Beauty, and it was.
I was doing exactly what the presentation is telling other people to do.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Oh, I should stop the presentation now.